afternoon. It is January 20th, 2025.
Sounds right.
And we are rolling with season 2 of the Nuttycast. We have had a bit of a hiatus with recordings. It's been since, the summer? Anyway, welcome to Studio P, my very own cousin, Tyler Mangum.
Hello, Caleb.
Hello, Tyler.
Hello, everyone.
Hello, everyone.
Thank you for having me.
I'd like to take this opportunity now to thank Steve and the great folks at Popcorn Works for letting us rework the store to do this while you were at a funeral. All right, here we are.
You got me to clap for a funeral. That's good.
So, Tyler.
Yes, Caleb.
You, of course, are an entrepreneur, small business owner yourself. Now, I should back up.
That's a stretch. But yeah, please back up.
Let's see. We're cousins.
Yes.
We share the same last name.
Yes.
I would think you probably consider me to be a friend.
Yeah.
Though.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's really
Family
reciprocated.
first, for sure. Family, then friend. No, you're a friend. You're absolutely a friend. Just because we have the same grandfather doesn't mean we can't be friends.
Yes. You're one of my very best friends.
You're one of my best friends, for sure.
Oh my gosh. Should we just go?
Yeah. Yep.
And let's see. So we grew up, I lived in Texas when I was a young kid. And then moved here, and we went to church together. In high school, we ended up having like a bunch of classes together. I actually remember something from, it was either middle school or high school. I think we were in a math class together, and I think we were talking about something businessy. I don't know if you remember this, but I don't know if the teacher asked,
I'm gonna get out of here and start my own thing.
I was like, I'm gonna get so
far away. And I said, you'll never do that.
I'm gonna get so far away from Satterton, and but it was just I don't know. But the conversation was like something of like, I was like, like owning my own thing like that. I don't know. That sounds kind of cool to me. That could be interesting. And I remember you being like, no, like I think I'd rather like. Something along the lines of make a bunch of money, but probably work for somebody else or something like that.
That sounds familiar. I think I remember the class.
Really?
Yes, I remember the teacher.
Oh, jeez. So this did happen.
Alabach?
Yeah.
Allemans? Something like that. Yes.
Math.
We were in those modular classrooms.
Yep. Okay.
Because I don't know why.
Was this at Crest?
Yeah, I think it was at Crest, 9th grade. Anyway, you're right. Keep going.
Oh man, well that's, I don't know. I guess that's it. I was just kind of struck.
I had no desire at that time to have my own business, be an entrepreneur, like start my own business or anything. Like I had no desire, none. And you always had that. We were like 15, and you were talking like that, which I was always kind of impressed by. I mean, I thought you were stupid, but it was impressive. Because I had no desire, none, at that point.
Cool. Okay.
Yeah.
So that's a great segue because you do own your own business now, partnership. So take us from 15 to you're almost 37 like me.
Almost.
So yeah, what happened that led you to being independent now?
So I was, I went to college, also not thinking I was going to have my own business or anything like that. I was just a business major. Didn't even know what I wanted to do. I just know I wanted to do something like in the business field. Whatever.
That's more than me, by the way. I was architecture and then a psychology major, and then eventually picked up a general business minor.
I forgot about that.
It's like business is for dweebs.
See, and now you have this nutty empire.
Nutty empire, yes.
That I
trademark that.
Yeah. But I had no thoughts of, starting my own business or anything like that. Zero. And I started working this company, and it was, you just kind of like go to work every day, and I wasn't really thinking about even like what my career path was or anything like that. I just sort of went to work and tried to do a good job, and next thing you know, it's like 10 years later, it's 12 years later, and I was like, man, I am just like a corporate hack. Like not doing at all what I want to be doing. And
so you're like 30-ish at this point?
I was 33.
Okay.
I was 33. and like I was like making good money. Like the money was good, but I hated what I was doing. It was like a soul crushing, just I had no I felt like I had no positive impact on anybody. You know what I mean? I just would go to work, sit in meetings, and then get my paycheck, and then do the same thing again. And it was just like all of a sudden I was like, man, this is not what I want to be doing. This is terrible. So,
Hmm.
um, long story short, a guy that I worked with who I had become friends with, he was trying to go out on his own and he was looking for a partner. He was looking for a business partner. And he asked me multiple times over several years, would you want to partner up? And I kept saying no. Would you want to partner up? No, no, no. And then eventually he was like, he asked me again, and it was just, I don't know if he caught me at the right day or the right time or what it was, but I was like, yeah, like, I don't know that I even want to be doing that, to be honest with you, but I don't want to do this anymore. So I might as well, like, let's have a conversation about it and try to figure this out. And that's how it happened. So I didn't, to be clear, yes, I own my own business. One, it's in a partnership. That's important. Two, I didn't start anything.
Mm-hmm.
Like you started your Nutty Novelties from, don't tell me, the Nut Hut.
Peanuts. Oh, the Nut Hut, yes.
yeah, it's mostly nut based, but I understand. But like you started it basically from nothing. I did not do that. I partnered with somebody and sort of purchased a business, if you will. So much different path, different sort of, I don't know what the word is, but like we might you might say we're at the same spot now. You both own our own business, but we took much different paths to get there. So
it's interesting.
So I don't know that I wouldn't even say that I'm an entrepreneur really. Like I didn't really start anything. We're semantics maybe, but
I remember you telling me about the meetings one time. Just the constant boring meetings that didn't really like apply to what you were even doing, and you're like, I want to be like talking with clients and like and like building the business and like making money and like doing the stuff, and I feel like we're always like talking about the stuff.
That was really the thing, is I was in meetings talking about it was meetings about meetings about meetings, and I was just like, I'm not helping anybody, I'm not doing anything. Like I'm not doing anything of significance. And it was just brutal, and it was never ending. Like it wasn't like, one day a week or one day a month I have to sit through these meetings. It was like every single day, 10 hours a day, all day long. And then I would come home and have to find some time to like do real work, and then I would wake up again and do it all again. Like it was terrible. So I always thought there was always this like especially when I was like in college and a young adult, you would hear people talk about like, it's not about the money, or it's not just about the money. And I was like, you're an idiot. It clearly
became about the money.
I was like, what do you mean it's not about the money? It's work. Of course it's about the money. But I think I finally got to understand, like, it really doesn't matter what you're paying me to do this. That's not entirely true. If they had paid me a lot more, I guess I would have done it. But, like, it's not really about the money that I'm making. This is terrible, and I hate it, and I have to get out of here. So that was kind of the tip.
It becomes a miserable existence.
Yes.
This is what I'm doing every day. I'm getting in the car and driving down to this thing that I don't enjoy doing.
And I would come home just, like totally wiped out, like mentally, just like mentally exhausted, and no energy to do anything else. This was sort of over COVID. So like during COVID, I was just like stuck in Zoom meetings all day, and it was the same soul crushing meeting, but through a computer screen. It was terrible. So it was that was the point where I was like, I got to do something else. Like, this is really bad. So,
well, I'd like to pay you a compliment. You should probably stop recording for this. I don't want this to be public. I'm just kidding.
The first of many.
I think there's a lot of people that, especially if they're paid pretty well, that just keep doing that thing. They just keep doing that soul-crushing thing.
Yeah.
And never leave. And they find themselves at 30 being like, man, I just can't wait for the weekend when I don't have to do this. And then they find themselves at 60 being like, can't wait till 65 when I can just like retire.
Yep.
And like, there's something to say about those people too, because I mean, there's a lot of hardworking individuals, and I have a ton of respect for that they just need to make money for their families. But yeah, I give you a lot of credit for branching out from that and being like, you know what, let's at least see what this other thing has to offer. Maybe this isn't the answer either, but I at least want to go down this path and just see what it has for me.
Yes. Thank you. That was very genuine.
Yes, we can start recording
Was
again
that
now.
was that painful? For
It,
you
it hurt a
to
little.
do that? Yeah.
It didn't feel
Yeah.
good. So I don't think you actually told us yet. What do you do at MCCMMMC?
MCCM. It's a nut butter business based in Souderton. We do macadamia, cashew,
Wow.
cashew macadamia is what it stands for. Focus on two nuts primarily, the peanut and the almond.
You had this scripted.
So,
This isn't off the cuff. That's good.
It is off the cuff. No, so MCCM is MC Capital Management. Mangum Clark, my business partner's last name is Clark. Capital Management. We're a financial planning and investment firm. So we do mostly financial advice for individuals, small businesses, people that are retiring primarily. So we have like 500 clients, 520 clients, maybe something like that, kind of throughout the country. And yeah, we do financial planning, investment advice. You're smirking. Go ahead.
I was going to make a joke about
Please.
nodding off to sleep.
Sure. And really, I think the most important thing when it comes,
I'm just kidding.
but that is what we do.
No,
So,
that's cool.
Yes.
And what? I mean, give us a brief rundown of like your day-to-day life. Are you on calls with clients all day? Are you in spreadsheets?
yeah, I wake up at 10. I go to the gym. I go out to lunch. I golf, and then I come home and go to bed.
And well, at some point you get a
Primarily.
deposit.
And then
in
at some
your
point I
account.
get paid. Yeah, throughout
Okay.
usually while I'm golfing.
Yeah, so that's a lot
I-
like me.
I would say I'd say
Pretty much nothing. you know.
typical day is 1, 2, 3, maybe 1, 2, 3 client meetings, so client appointments, and it totally depends on the situation, but it's usually some sort of like review their portfolio, talk about their financial plan, something like that. And then there's usually a lot of work that comes out of that, like we have to trade a portfolio, we have to update their financial plan. If they are changing jobs or there's some sort of like big life change, had a child, got a divorce, unfortunately, like
Yeah.
any sort of major life change, and there's a lot of them, kind of calls for some sort of, like big update to the plan. And then even if not, there's always something small that we have to do, some sort of, follow-up work, something like that. And, some sort of paperwork, something. So it's usually a client appointment or two, and then paperwork, trading, updating the plan, whatever, something like that. That's a typical day.
Your partner's name is Kevin,
Kevin,
right? And you and
yep.
Kevin, it's just the two of you, correct? You don't
Just-
have any
just two of
employees
us.
currently?
We have no employees. We just recently, like literally a week ago, hired somebody part-time to help with some of like the administrative work, paperwork, that sort of thing.
Nice.
That is, like a week old, but yeah. So we're pretty much doing everything ourselves. And part of that is because I wanted to kind of learn. I didn't know how to do paperwork or anything like that. So I wanted to learn that before I hired somebody to do it, was the first thing.
Smart.
The
Yep.
second thing is I'm very cheap and I didn't want to pay anybody.
Also smart.
And I was like, why would I pay someone to do this when I could just do it myself?
Yep.
And eventually it just becomes too much and you realize, okay, I'm spending too much time doing the things that it's not important.
Yep.
It's just I could find somebody else to do this, and there's a part of the business that it's harder to find somebody to do that I should be the one doing.
I totally agree
Finding
with-
new clients,
Yep.
whatever, doing the client appointments, that sort of thing. So
Totally agree with all that.
just like I'm sure you don't grind your own nut butters anymore. Maybe.
Well, I don't like that to
Maybe
be
do.
public. But yes, thankfully, I was going to say, I have like 20 employees now,
Dude,
and
really? Holy cow.
pretty much everybody is part-time besides me and
Mhm.
Jesse. But I feel like every time we've hired somebody, it's because I've gotten to the point where I'm like,
Yep.
I'm losing my mind trying to keep up with, the first thing was production, trying to keep up with making the nut butters. And more recently was like social media stuff. And Danielle sitting behind the camera. Thank you, Danielle. And more recently than that was driving.
Oh yeah.
There was a time when I was on the road like 4 or 5 days a week. That was way
Yeah.
too much. And there was another time when I was on the road just like 1 or 2 days a week. But now unless
And
there's a special situation, I'm not out there like myself. And I feel like every time I've hired somebody, I've been at like max capacity and not maybe even realize that until I hired that person.
mhm.
Danielle's a great example. As somebody who not only like took it off my plate, like Danielle took Instagram and everything, social media and MailChimp and all that stuff off my plate, and then ran with it and made it something so much better than it is or could have been with me doing it, with the time that I had to commit to it and with my very limited skill set.
Right.
Let's face it.
And
I'm not that good at it.
You can't, it's much harder to find somebody that will put on a squirrel costume and film an Instagram video. That's got to be you.
And I call that kind of the talent portion. And it's like, there's only so many people that are like talented enough to do something like that.
It is true though that whether you can do it or not, you just don't have the time. So to find somebody that has the time to not just do the work, but actually make it so much better than you ever could, just because you're doing 90,000 different things.
Yeah.
And if their focus is in one area or a couple areas, they're going to make it so much better than you could, just because your time is spread so thin. No,
especially if they're good at it and they have more of like a passion for it.
Yes,
that's like a joy to me. That is
come up with ideas of how to make it better that you would have never thought of. There's a whole lot of positives that come out of it besides just, oh, good, I don't have to waste my time doing that anymore.
Right.
There's a lot more positives that come out of it, and totally different business for us. We don't have inventory. We don't have a supply chain we have to worry about. We don't have deliveries we have to make. A lot of our stuff is done remotely. It's a lot more software driven.
Physical product.
There's no physical.
There's no
product.
nut butter.
No, it's all
better or worse.
It's all imaginary. But so it's a different type of, like you making deliveries is a perfect example, because that's so much time in the car, dropping off a case of nut butter or whatever, and then driving an hour back.
Yep.
It's so much time out of your day. So we don't quite have the same, sort of, we don't have the same challenges, I guess. But there are just certain things in the business that's just like, yeah, I could do this. I just don't think it's worth my time doing this anymore.
Yep.
And we had reached that point where, like you said, max capacity, maybe even a little bit over max capacity.
You can keep doing it.
You could.
You can. But
you're not going to grow. And you're not going to grow anymore
yourself
if you continue doing that, because you have sort of, then you will have topped out at a certain point. So
totally agree. Totally agree.
Yep.
Do you feel like you hired this person literally a week ago?
Literally a week
feel like
ago.
you've noticed any change or anything yet, or not yet?
I mean, last week, just a small sample size, but just last week, I mean, she did things for us that was, it would have taken me, I don't know, probably the same amount of time. She probably did it a little bit quicker than I could have done.
There you go.
But I know for a fact, I had 2 appointments scheduled last week that I was like, this is going to be this is going to be a really busy week. And it didn't really feel that busy because I only had to focus on those appointments. I didn't have to do the paperwork from the previous appointments. So that's one example. Like I said, small sample size, but yes, short answer is yes. And we found somebody that already knows the paperwork, knows the systems that we work with. So there's not much training involved. So even that was kind of an advantage to us. So,
I have a book recommendation for our listeners.
Mm-hmm.
And this actually was recommended to me by Jesse.
Harry Potter
what the heck?
and the Chamber of Secrets.
No. I think it's called 10x is easier than 2x. And
interesting.
It talks about these exact things, like kind of shedding some of that easy stuff, passing it into like capable hands so that you can focus on the things that you can do. Like maybe you don't want this, but maybe you can schedule yourself for 15 appointments with clients if you want, and actually build the thing and have time to reach out to new clients, which maybe you haven't had time to. Right. I know when I'm in the thick of it, the last thing I'm doing is reaching out to potential new clients, new customers, because I'm just trying to keep up with the
survive
existing
the day or the week.
Survive.
Yep.
So that's always like on the back burner for me. But I know that's one thing I'm actually kind of good at.
Right.
Is going out and getting those new customers, and I never feel like I have the bandwidth or the time to do it.
And at a certain point, I mean, it depends on what your growth goals are and all that, but at a certain point, either way, it's freeing up your time. It's freeing up your time for something. So whether that's a different part of the business or a different side of the business, or it's because you want to take Fridays off or whatever you want to do, like it frees up your time enough that your time is yours to spend how you want. So
exactly right.
Yep.
Exactly right.
10x is easier than 2x. All right.
Very corny title.
I'm gonna look that up.
I rolled my eyes when Jesse
Not
first
a
gave it
huge
to me.
fan when people use X instead of times, but
Don't get me started.
But I get it.
But it's really good. And this next portion of our show is brought to you by our sponsor, Nutty Novelty. Have you tried their dark chocolate almond butter yet? It's like a healthy alternative to Nutella in your mouth with only 1/5 of the sugar. And we're back.
Can I give you my Mangum
Yeah,
household
please,
favorite?
please.
All right, so just because it's right here, this jar, this specific, how big is this? 15-ounce jar of honey roasted peanut butter. Probably 2 a week we go through in my house.
I didn't know it was that.
We're
that
not
volume.
Yeah, we're not judging here. We're just stating the facts. This is my personal favorite, cashew butter. Cashew butter is wildly underrated.
And we're back. Let's see. I feel like you kind of answered those things. All right, one of the questions that I'm asking everybody in season 2 here, and I'm not trying to. I think I pretty much know where you stand, but I'm not trying to, impose my own faith or anything on anybody else. But I am genuinely curious. How does your faith inform your life as a business owner? How does your faith inform MCCM and your general dealings, or does it? And maybe it doesn't, and that's fine too. But I'm curious about those things.
I don't know that it does. It gets in the way of making money. So I try to push that part of it.
Yeah. Yep.
No,
shove that down.
I would say, it's a good question. I think I would say it doesn't inform, my like how I interact with clients directly. Meaning, it's not like I open client meetings with like a word of prayer or anything.
Yeah.
It just sort of informs my business life the same way it informs every part of my life. Like every important decision that I have to make, I do it, in a prayerful way. Every sort of, if I have, I don't know, something that I'm choosing between, like, should I go this route or go this route type of thing. I try to lean on, my knowledge of the Bible and wisdom of other people, maybe. So I ask advice from Christians, from people that, that have the same faith as me. Which is just how I do things in my everyday life. So it's really, I don't know that it's any different than how it informs the rest of my life necessarily. So there are certainly people that, and I mean, I could go off on a huge tangent. There are certainly people that I think sort of conflate the Bible with money and money management, and they throw out like passages or parables or something, and they sort of, they like build it into their practice. You know what I mean? And it's like, I'm not saying that's a bad thing. It just feels a little disingenuous, to be like, to call yourself like Matthew 25, a very popular one. That's the parable of the landowner gives 3 workers like one, I think it's 1 talent, 2 talents, 5 talents. You know what I mean? And he's like, take care of this till I come back. I think that's the passage. Someone fact check me on this. And he comes back, and this guy, the one guy doubled it, and the other guy doubled it, and the other guy buried it in the ground because he didn't want to lose it.
The guy with the one buried
Right.
it. He said, I thought you were a hard man and you'd want your money back, so I buried it.
So people like kind of use that as like I think it's an important lesson. What is your purpose of using that in your business? Like, I don't quite get the it's like, well, if you work with me, I'll double your money, just like in Matthew 25. Like I don't always get the direct correlation sometimes, you know what I mean? So there are certain things that I think are like disingenuous, for lack of a better word. I don't really know how else to say it. Not saying that it's a bad thing necessarily. For me personally, it's more just, I'm honest with people. I don't make promises I can't keep. I don't make guarantees that I can't control. Like, none of that's really even, Christian per se. It's just sort of more of like an ethical way of doing things.
Yeah.
So I guess that's how, that's how it impacts my life, my business life, but it's really no different than how it impacts the rest of my life, if that makes sense. So
I think that's a good sign.
I prayed a ton.
That's a
like
really
when
good answer.
when the business was trying to, should I do this or should I not do this? Obviously, prayed a ton
Mm-hmm.
about the decision and that sort of thing. But again, like I that's just sort of how I approach a lot of big decisions. So,
Was there one thing that pushed you over the edge to doing it? Did you get a sign from God, or which I
didn't
kind of say that jokingly a little bit, but
yeah.
I mean, the sign from God doesn't have to look like
I
a
went
picture of the
outside
sky.
to get the mail, and I have this bush out front, and it was on fire.
No,
And the bush was like, "You should start your own business."
that actually happened to somebody before.
No, it did
Yeah,
not.
not the business thing, but
Really?
other
With like
stuff.
leading
Yeah,
a group of people or
yeah,
something?
something like
No
that.
way. Was he
Yeah.
qualified to do it?
No, not
Oh
really.
man, that's
No,
crazy.
yeah,
No.
murderer.
So
It ended up working out in the end. I'll look it up.
there was not a direct sign. There was more of a feeling, which probably sounds corny, but the feeling I don't think was like, it wasn't just like, you know what, I think I should do this. Like it was more of, I think, discernment.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know, like my wife and I talk about this a lot. Like in this specific example, like, does God care what I do for a living? I'm not even sure. You know what I mean? Like maybe he does, maybe he doesn't. I don't think he's like looking down on me like, let's hope he makes the right decision, you know? I
Yeah.
think there's just this sort of like, you know, I don't know if this is the right decision or not, but I don't have any clear signs that it's not.
Yeah.
So I will trust that God will work this out, you know, for good, however he sees fit, I guess. And I'm not sure, not that he can't do that in other ways. So I'm not sure it's like, oh, if I hadn't done this, then, you know, other people, you know, would have, it's like, oh, I made this business decision and now all these people I know have, you know, started coming to church or something like that. It's nothing like that. It's
Right.
just more of a, you know, just trying to find a way to use the gifts that he's given me, and if I can, you know, be an influence on people through that, then that's great. I guess that's how I look at it.
I think that's really good. I think
Yeah,
that makes a lot of sense. I mean, when you look back, especially a few years ago when you were working at the company.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd
Yeah.
have to think from the outside
I mean,
that
that's-
you'd probably like, you know what? Thank God. Thank God I'm not there anymore. Thank God
Yes.
I'm doing this, and he's providing me in
Absolutely.
this other way, providing for me in this other way instead.
Exactly. 100%.
Yeah.
And I do think I'm having more of an impact now than I was before too, which I think is important.
Very cool. Yep,
Yeah.
awesome.
Mm-hmm.
So you are also a husband,
Mm-hmm.
father,
Mm-hmm.
3 boys,
Mm-hmm.
9 dogs,
16 dogs.
16 dogs.
2 dogs. 2 dogs. 3 boys, 2 dogs.
Yep.
Yep.
How do you balance life as a business owner, partner, which partnership is a lot like a marriage too?
Yeah, 100%.
Partnership advisor,
Yes.
husband, father,
Yes.
recreational basketball player, Nutty Novelties video cameo,
Professional face
actor,
injurer.
face injury. Yeah.
It's
How do you balance all that?
Yeah, it's definitely challenging sometimes. I think like the work-life balance conversation is always kind of an interesting one just because it means different things to different people. Like I think there are people that their work-life balance means that they work 60 hours a week in an office, and then when they come home, they can turn it off and not worry about it, and that's how they find balance.
Yeah.
I personally find balance in like I would, and this is just true of me in general. I'm very much a, you know, do a little bit every day type of person. So when it comes to anything, exercise, household chores, work, time with family, whatever.
Yep.
Like, I very rarely will do a lot of anything in one day. I do a little bit of everything almost every day. So I would rather do one load of laundry every day until the day I die. My wife would rather keep it all till Saturday, and on Saturday do 70,000 loads of laundry. So I don't think one is right or wrong. It's just a different way of doing things. So when it comes to work-life balance, I would rather have a job that is flexible, that sometimes it means I'm working nights, sometimes it means I'm working weekends, sometimes it means I'm working holidays, but it also means that 11 a.m. on a Tuesday type of thing. Like I can, whatever, go to an early lunch with my wife. I can pick the kids up from school. I can, take one of my million dogs to the vet if I need to. So like the balance for me is in the flexibility of it.
Yeah.
So the hard part is getting the kids to understand that, a day off of school may or may not mean I don't have to work.
Yeah.
Or something like that. And there's been a couple conversations that it's like, like why do you have to work? Like it's Saturday. Like it's not Saturday, it's Tuesday. It's just July 10th.
Like, yeah.
Or
Remember
whatever.
when you were at school on Tuesday?
Right.
And I was asleep until noon?
Right. Yeah.
Now I have to work on Saturday while you're home.
That's the balance. So I try to do a little bit of a lot of things every day. My wife and I are very intentional about spending time together at night, with kids go to bed or find a night a week to try to spend time together because the weeks are just kind of crazy.
Yeah.
I try to, like I said, even doing little stuff, taking the kids to school, picking them up, stuff like that, I think is how I've been able to find balance on a day-to-day basis. So.
I can't believe I'm saying this, but I think that's really good again.
Oh, man.
And,
oh, man.
I actually totally relate to that.
Yeah, I mean, you have it.
One of the things that's kind of a blessing and a curse.
You have the exact same situation that I have.
Yeah. Yeah.
A wife.
There's sometimes that kids. I have to be working that I really don't want to be because whatever's going on. And there's other times when like the whole rest of the world seems to be working and I feel very privileged that I'm at the YMCA with a bunch of elderly folks. And sometimes you. And
the YMCA is like, Caleb, we told you can't be here. This is a class for seniors. Go to the gym. But you're right. It's the trade-off of both those things.
Yep. I like it that way though.
Yeah.
I like that nobody's necessarily in a way. Like I always think like as a small business owner, I don't have a boss.
Yeah.
But in another way, it's like I have hundreds of bosses. Like whoever the customers are, whatever they need, I'm going to try and make it happen.
Yep. It's very true.
So that's good and bad.
I'm fortunate that I don't know how many work emergencies you have. I don't have many work emergencies. Like my work is important. It's not very often urgent. You know what I mean? Like this is very rarely that I have to get something done by a certain time. Once in a while, but not very often. So that helps too, because that's where the flexibility comes in.
I think there's a clock. In my world, I feel like there's a clock. Like everything has a shelf life on it.
Yes.
In food, at least in our business, everything has to be kind of turning over.
Yes.
You're always restocking the store, and you have to do that in a timely manner. The store doesn't want to look like this right now. Honestly, hey, look, we're reworking the store. All right, relax.
That would be hideous.
Relax. But this obviously has way too many holes. It's not acceptable. And really, I blame the folks at Popcorn Works for that. This should be better.
Can I take the time to just blame the folks at Popcorn Works? I mean, don't you find it challenging sometimes that your work is never done? I mean, I think that's the hard part. You could always be doing something. You could always be doing something more or whatever. Like, it's never truly done.
I think in some ways I've gotten better in that over the years. It's been 12, 13 years now of owning my own business, like full-time. Full-time's been 10 years. So I think I'm kind of getting used to that and getting better at that. I keep the 4 to 7 p.m. window like as open as I can because that's very precious family time.
Absolutely.
Oh, I got news. I know she didn't ask, but I do have news.
Caleb, did anything happen major this weekend, Friday, perhaps, that you'd like to share with everyone?
So Mary and I adopted our 2 foster kids, Raiden and Legacy. Thank you. Thank you.
Congratulations.
Obviously, we are very excited for that. We've been fostering them for 3 years.
It's been a long road.
And I am now officially a father of 3, just like you are. It's felt like that pretty much the whole time. Like, now it's official. And we just had a big party on Saturday.
It's awesome.
Today's Monday. It's been a whirlwind. It's been really cool. We are beyond grateful.
Does it feel different? Did it feel different when you woke up Saturday or Sunday morning?
It really didn't feel different.
Yeah. I mean, that's good.
The main thing was relief. I was just talking with Mary just last night and just saying like, in foster care, there's so much uncertainty, and there's you as a foster parent, you have almost no control over what happens.
Right.
And there were a number of times over the last 3 years where we felt like some kind of bump in the road came out of nowhere from our perspective. And we were like, and maybe it made sense weeks or months later, but at the time it was just like, oh my word, are you kidding me? Another delay, another whatever. Always a delay
Right.
based on whatever reason.
Yep.
So January 17th was the date that was on the calendar for about a month of
Gotcha.
like, this is going to be the date. And so our prayers leading up to that were like, please help nothing to come up.
Right.
Help there to be nothing crazy seeming
Right.
out of nowhere
Yeah.
that comes up and delays this even further.
You're like,
And you know what? It didn't.
We rented the church for the 18th for a party. We can't not have this happen.
We're doing the party. Yeah.
Now, is that a day you're going to celebrate every year now, January 17th? I mean, is that a celebration day for you, you think?
That is a good question. I have not even considered that.
Yeah.
It probably will be.
Yeah.
Mary, regardless of other people, Mary and I have never really been comfortable with like the gotcha day term or like just kind of that. It just kind of feels kind of like possessive.
Yeah.
And I think to us, like
they've
been God's kids all along.
Yep.
We've just been kind of stewarding all along, and now it's as official parents, although before it wasn't. But that is still a meaningful day. It is still a meaningful day. Their birthdays are also both in December, so it's like, how much can we really celebrate these kids? I don't know. So probably not. Let's go with no on
I
that.
would say no. Also, I don't know that I would call it gotcha day.
I don't know. We definitely won't call it gotcha day. We might call it adoption. I don't know.
Think about it.
I'll have to think about that.
We'll get back to me. Yeah.
All right, I got one more question. What, if anything? So we're in a new year here. So January is named after the Greek god Janus, that you may see depicted on old Roman coins with two heads, one facing forward and one face. This is real. I totally ripped this off from J.R. Briggs, but it is real.
I believe you.
So January is all about looking backwards and looking forward.
Okay, gotcha.
Look back into what has been, forward into the new year, what will be.
Got it.
So we're in January.
Yes.
What, if anything, would you like to be different about your life or your business in 2025 and beyond?
Well, Janice, I would say.
Thank you.
I mean, I think for the most part, I feel pretty good with where things are right now. So I don't know that there's a major thing that I would.
Well, you did hire somebody.
We did hire somebody.
I mean, that's big right there.
That is big. Yeah. I mean, I think, I guess that's probably from a business standpoint. We're always trying to improve and, be the best for our clients we can be, which means constant improvement. We got to get smarter about things. We have to.
Are you guys more focused? Sorry to cut you off. Are you more focused on like serving your existing clients better, or like getting more clients?
Right now, it's serving our existing clients better for sure. So, we are taking on new clients. We're a little bit more selective than we used to be, but we are taking on new clients. But I think
if somebody wanted to be brought on, how would they do that?
They would go to nuttynovelties.com.
Subscribe.
And there is a link in so MCCMplanning.com, if you want to do it that way. MCCMplanning.com is probably the easiest way. They can go onto the website and they can fill out like a brief, not even a questionnaire, but a brief questionnaire, introduce themselves. Here's what they want help with. That's probably the best way.
We'll link that in our show notes. Can we do that? Do we have show notes we can link to?
Sure.
We'll link it in the show
You can do whatever you want.
Of course.
Yeah.
I'll at least say it. See if it happens. I've never looked at somebody's show notes in my life.
I was just going to say.
Is that even a thing?
Help you look at show notes. It sounds cool.
Sounds cool, right?
We'll
link it in our show
notes. Yeah.
Yep. nuttynovelties.com/show notes.
But I think, I'm always trying to be better at everything. Business owner, parent, husband, friend, whatever. So, I don't know that I don't know that I would say anything different. I'm trying to improve.
Continue
continue on the path. I feel like I'm on the right path.
Yep.
And if you're not, I just came up with this. Tell me if you like it. If you're not moving forward, you're moving backwards. Have you heard that before?
Well, I say it a different way. If you're not growing, you're dying.
Same idea. And I don't want to die. I guess that would be the thing.
But I do feel like you're always losing customers and stuff. And I don't like that terminology, but I do kind of feel like it's true.
From any standpoint in life, I feel like anything that's worth doing, you got to put the work into it. Business, relationships, family, whatever. Yeah. There's some sort of work that has to be put into it. If you're not putting the work in, it's not going to, like, something is going to start to fall apart. So I
Yeah.
feel like we're on the right path. We got to put the work in to continue on the right path. And I think that's true in almost every area of my life right now. So
That's good, man.
how about you, Caleb? Would you like to do anything different in 2025?
Again, my answer is really a lot like yours.
Mm-hmm.
We are making some changes. I
Mhm.
am trying to piece off kind of a few more things like we talked about, things that I feel like may have been holding me back. And we are trying to grow. We're going to be trying new things, new flavors. We got a new batch drop coming even later this very
Look
week.
at that.
We're trying to hit the pavement a little bit in January, which is always tough because nobody's doing much business right now, but it's kind of planting those seeds for maybe March or April when it starts to warm up.
Yep.
But yeah, I'm not trying to do anything drastically different either. I want to continue on the path that we're on,
Yep.
and
Which takes work. Like,
yeah,
it's
which is
not
plenty of work in itself.
plenty of work,
Yeah.
right, in and of itself to continue on the path.
Yeah.
So,
Well, thank you all for listening. This has been the Nuttycast Season 2 with guest Tyler Mangum.
thank you, Caleb.
Okay, at the end, we always like to, at the same time, say, stay nutty. So, as always, stay nutty.
nutty.